Hello, and welcome back to another episode for Project Seed Money. My name is Sharissa Bradley, and I am so excited to be joined today with author Tricia Copeland. Thank you so much for being here and spending a little time with me today.
Thank you, Sharissa. I really appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I just want to jump right in by asking, have you always wanted to be an author?
No, and unlike most authors I talk to, like I didn't like writing. I didn't think I would be an author, like all through high school, all through college. I didn't really like writing until graduate school. And it wasn't until my 30s when I started writing. Not really, I didn't think I would publish, but I struggled with anorexia as a young adult. So when I got into my 30s, I think I was pushing 40, really reflective of my life and looking back and thinking about this experience and thinking that I wanted to show the hope and the recovery and being able to come out the other side of something like that can seem like so debilitating and so like life stopping, for lack of a better term, when you're in it. So that was my first manuscript that I wrote. I was bored. I had like little kids at home and I was a stay-at-home mom. And I thought, instead of watching Netflix, I'll just write this story. And I didn't write about me because I didn't want to be like that vulnerable and that open with my family, but I wrote about a fictionalized character who had basically the same experiences I did. So that turned into like a 4-book series, which the first manuscript I had was like 160,000 words. And my sister-in-law and my best friend were like, you have to do something. You have to do something with this. So my friend was actually an editor and indie author. So she helped me edit it. And it was not written right. Like I was not a writer. I did not know how to do a storyline, a plot. It read more like a script, like it was all dialogue. And so we had a lot of work to do on it. And it took me the whole publish or editing, writing, published took me like 8 years to get like the first 2 books in. They split it up and, first 2 books ready for publication. So I did that in 2015, which is about 10 years ago. And yeah, so that's where I started my writing journey. And from then I couldn't stop writing. Like I just love doing it for whatever reason. It just like caught me.
Oh, that's incredible. And what a unique way to get into the writing space. It wasn't something that you necessarily sought out. It sounds like it kind of found you and then is now attached very firmly.
Yes, yeah. Over 20 novels later, it's attached horribly, firmly. So yeah.
What? Oh my goodness, that's incredible. So what publishing path did you choose when even way back in 2015 and then still to this day?
Right. So I really thought that I wanted to be like the goal was to be, oh, wouldn't it be great to be traditionally published, a big firm? And so I did query for about 6 months. And I know that's not much compared to how long you should be patient in query, but I did send out over like 300 queries within this like 6 month period. And I did get a couple of requests like from Harlequin but they weren't right. Like they wanted me to condense my story to 1 book. And I thought this cannot be written in 1 book. And they wanted me to like make these huge changes that I didn't feel were right for what I needed to say. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. I had my editor that had indie published, and she had a group of, I knew a cover person, I knew all these people, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care. I worked this long and this hard on this. I'm going to put it out there. So I did it myself.
That's incredible. And there's so much independence and power in really just owning all of your own things and getting to just decide when you want to do things and what you want to keep. So I love that. And I love the independence of self-publishing. And the world of self-publishing it's not, I'm not going to say it's easy. There's nothing easy about any of it, but there's so much available. There's so many tools available now.
There are, yeah. And I mean, I'm not a tech person by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, and I didn't get a formatter to format because I knew that wasn't something I wanted to do. And obviously, I hired a professional cover person, also something I did not have the skills to do whatsoever, and a good editor, proofreader, all of those things to make the book the best it could be. But those are tools. I mean, a lot of those tools like the formatting and the cover stuff you can learn and you can do yourself if you have bandwidth or more, if you want to. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I wonder though, while you were going through the process of writing your first book, and then maybe even the subsequent ones after the fact, did you face self-doubt during the pre-writing and publishing process?
Well, I think when I was writing it, I was just enjoying the story and creating this character that was had a little bit more dramatic life than I had, and it was fun to write her. I mean, and it was very therapeutic for me to write her lows and then her recovery and those type of things. Um, and so initially that was it. Like I didn't really have in my mind that I would publish it, but then once I was going through the editing process and people were reading this that wasn't me, it was definitely a sense of wow, I have really put this out there. I am really like I knew I would call it a fictionalized account of my experience and that people would know some parts of it were my life. And so yeah, it was scary to think, okay, my everybody anybody who knows me could pick it up and know, oh, this is, this is close. or the little tweaks that I made. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I wonder if it got easier after the first one.
I don't know that it got any easier because each book kind of followed like a year in my college. This happened to me during college, which is odd for people having anorexia. And I mean, it usually happens when you're a bit younger, but it kind of followed me year by year, each one of the four books from my freshman year to my senior year of college. And those are different. I mean, I had, a number of different things happened during those years that just like kept me spiraling down and down and down until I couldn't get out of it myself. And so to go back and remember those things and write them down and kind of just put them out there for the world, it kind of continues no matter even now, like I write fantasy fiction, it continues to feel raw and like, oh, well, and even if it's not my story, feeling that raw, it's a story I created and a character I am very invested in. So I'm always scared that somebody's going to say, no, this wasn't great, or you didn't do this right. And, it's kind of a continual thing. I don't know if there's an author that's like 100%, yes, everybody's going to love it. It's good, the best thing ever.
Oh my goodness, if there is, I want their confidence.
Yeah.
So then I wonder, because it's not like you haven't published, right? You have all these titles now under your belt. Have you developed tools that help you kind of through that process? Because it's still there with you. It's not getting any easier. And yet you continue to put out titles.
And it's funny because I am very much a person who likes to read my reviews, and so I will find like I've been this past 6 months I've been better about it. Maybe I've just been too busy, but anyway, like it used to be that I used to look at my reviews like every day. I would go on Goodreads and check and see if I had a review, and if there was a bad review, I was going to be upset about it. And I mean, and some of it's learning tools. Like if one person in 100 says something negative about something, I'm like, that's probably not that big of a deal. But if, 10 or 15 people in 100 say, oh, well, there was this aspect that I didn't really like, then that might be a learning for the future. I mean, probably not going to go back and change my whole book if I've already written it. I did one book on a cliffhanger, and then I did end up doing like a bonus chapter and put that out there that I could just put on the end. And that was pretty easy to do. So, little things you're like, okay, well, this could be constructive criticism. I could take this. But then there's those things you're like, well, that was just a personal thing. But it always hurts. It always hurts my feelings. I'm not going to generalize everyone. But, yeah, you just kind of have to say, well, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to be perfect. And hopefully, my right reader, and that's part of it, getting your book to the right reader is going to love this. So, yeah.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, because not every reader is for every writer. And there's so many things like nuances when it comes to book reading, when it comes to the genres and the characters and character development. And we're also specific. So of course there's going to be people who are not or love our books, right? I wonder, once your books got published, maybe even that like first week of them being out in the world, did you face vulnerability?
Oh, I wanted to hide under the couch for like, and the first event I went to, just like talking about my books and I felt like I couldn't speak at all. Like somebody said, "What is your book about?" And I was like, and then just my face was hot, and it was like, okay, this is really me, and I'm standing in front of this person who wants to know what my book is about, and and just and seeing someone person to person and talking about it is a lot different too, because then it's like, okay, you're standing in front of them, and this is you, and there's no getting out of it. So yeah.
Do you have anything that you do now when you release a book to like help you with that week or that vulnerability? Like any tools that you've kind of developed for that launch week?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of try to separate myself from those feelings and be like, okay, this is a story, and not everyone may love this story. And we always have kind of goals around how many people you want to buy it. And but just initial sales really aren't indicative of who's going to like it or not. They're just buying it, right? I mean, I hope it appeals to a lot of people, but that's always like, oh, is it going to be as good as I think it is? And if it's not, there's obviously a letdown. And then, yeah, and I think it's just the fact that there are so many things to do. And like, I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to do my checklist. And I have a checklist for launch week. And I'm like, okay, this is my checklist. And in 2 weeks, when I'm done with all of this, I'll go back and see if I really want to look at that or not.
Oh, I love that idea of having a checklist and doing like checking the things off for launch week because then you're not maybe not as emotionally invested if you're doing all of the physical work. I wonder how many books published did it take you to make that checklist?
It was I mean, I did not know anything about marketing or book launching or any of those things. So I was looking for those checklist and to-dos like pretty soon on and trying to copy what other authors were doing. So I've just developed this list where I'm like, okay, 6 months out, I'm going to do this. And 3 months out, I'm going to do this. And 2 months, I'm going to do this. And 2 weeks, I'm going to do this. I'm going to check in on all my ARC readers and make sure they're posting reviews and, check in, let all my people that I asked to do whatever I asked to do, right, are have everything they need, and so everything goes right. And I'm going to check my social media and schedule out all my newsletters and all of those things that go with it. Then, I mean, I do some like podcast interviews, and I host my own podcast so I can put it out on my own platform, and so it's like all of those things that I can have a checklist to kind of calm my nerves because I'm definitely an action person. So if I'm doing an action, I feel like I'm moving forward. Maybe that's not the best way to deal with feelings, but at the moment it gets things done.
I think it's not like you're saying I'm never going to deal with the
Right.
feelings. It's that you're saying like yeah, I'll get these things done, and when it isn't so heightened, like I'll feel those emotions. I think
Right.
that seems healthy,
Right.
but I think it's important to share that it wasn't the very first time that you published that you were able to like know what to do in the
Um,
aftermath. That built up over time, and so I think for like my audience, they're first time authors and they hear like, oh, I should have this checklist. It's like, well, maybe, but maybe not because you don't really know yet what you need. You might be able to take some things from this interview and say, okay, I'll get my newsletters and get my posts scheduled and things like that. But that's so personal. That's going to depend totally on how you want to market yourself. So I think it's important to share that you built that over time. It wasn't like in 2015 you like had your book ready and you knew all these people and you got it all done.
no.
No.
No, I knew my 30 people that knew me, family and friends, and that was it, right? Yeah. And
That is awesome.
my little Facebook page that had like the 30 people that were my family and friends.
That's how it is though, and that's how we all start, and I think it's important to show people that like that's the tip of the iceberg, right? That's when you got to the top and now you understand the process, but getting there was all this unseen work that you had to kind of build up to be this person now 10 years later in the publishing world with the confidence that you have now. So I think it's earned, right? You had to earn it.
Yeah, and everything is so genre specific and so specific to the person and what you're writing and who your audience is that different things work for different types of books. And as a person, you're more comfortable doing like, I don't love being on TikTok, so I know I need to, but I still have to push myself. And like 1 month out of 6, I could push myself. And then I'm like, yeah, can't do it, even though I know I should, right? So it's just like getting to those little hurdles and overcoming them.
Yes, and it takes time. It takes time to build all those things in. Like, maybe you start with like one social media account. Maybe it's the Facebook, and that grows and that builds, and then because there's a lot of platforms to keep up with. It's not like some easy thing to market yourself as an author these days.
No, yeah, and yeah, I wouldn't suggest doing it. Yeah, and I decided I wanted a pen name, and I was like, oh, why did you do that? My
Oh no.
editor is like, I told you so. I told you not to do that, and I'm like, yeah, can't change it now.
Ooh, there's some positives and there's some negatives when it comes to
Yeah,
using your real name versus a pen name, and there are instances where there really isn't a choice in the matter. So it really comes down to, I think, an individual decision. And
yeah.
I mean, hopefully you don't have to regret it later.
No, yeah, no regrets on my part. So.
So that kind of perfectly leads me to asking, where can people find you and where can people find your books?
Yes, so my website is Tricia Copeland Author, TRICIACOPELAND.com. And you'll find all my books from YA contemporary romance. My first um, series about my experience with anorexia is the Being Me series. It's there, as well as some dystopian fiction and my new romances pinned under Maria Jane.
Thank you so much. I just have one last question. I wonder if you can share with us anything that might inspire my audience who are female authors. They're on the fence and they just need a little bit of encouragement to kind of get that first story out there.
Yeah, I think if you are passionate about something, obviously you're thinking about writing it already, is just to write it. Like, I mean, whatever skills you have, I wouldn't think about it too much. I would just go for it and write from the heart. And then if you have that, there are so many other resources, other coaches, editors, friends and family, networking people that can help you shape it into the best form of whatever. But I think initially it was just about just getting things on a page and loving doing it, right? Like if it's really killing you and you're hating it, like put it down and do it some other way. There may be another way. Like there's so many different ways to even write something like a fictionalized account like I did, or like a journalistic style, or past, present, future, all of those different things that you can, third person point of view, that may make it tweak it and be a little different. So just reaching out to maybe other people that are writing, or getting an author group too. Like there's author groups online that you can just jump in and be inspired by everybody there. I think community is a lot. It's when you go to events or meet up with other authors that are just writing. That always inspires me. If I'm like stuck, I take a course, or I call a friend or something. So that's my just do it is my mantra.
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for spending a little time with me and sharing about your process. I just really appreciate it, Tricia. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much, Sharissa.
Thank you so much for joining me on another episode for Project Seed Money. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And I will see you with another interview next week. Bye.